The dumpster fire that was the Alberta NDP convention burned bright last weekend. Of all the items on their convention agenda, their proposals on the education file were by far the scariest. In the spirit of yesterday's Halloween, I thought that we could go through them and try and laugh off the terrifying fact that these socialists are somehow still running Alberta. So we'll start right at the top. Number one, childcare spaces in schools. In schools. Look, every single socialist government on the face of the earth tries to find a way to smuggle excessive childcare into their government budget. In Ontario, the NDP tried to swindle taxpayers with a $12 a day something childcare scheme that was tied to dental care and pharmacare. The Alberta NDP are now following suit by trying to build a daycare in every single new school in Alberta. You have to applaud them for their imagination, squeezing this into the education portfolio somehow. Imagine if a Conservative government was trying to lump in the purchase of new fighter jets with Heritage Canada's museum budget. It doesn't make any sense. I don't think it really ever will. But there's more, of course, so I'll keep going. The NDP want to retrofit daycare spaces into every old school in Alberta as well. My God. If I'm being honest, this seems like nothing more than blatant social engineering. This is Rachel Notley saying to mothers and fathers, your kid doesn't need you. Trust me with your baby. Rachel Notley will take care of them for you, but at the taxpayer's expense, of course. It's never mentioned, but it is. Here's another point. Oppose education vouchers, it's titled, whereas the UCP overwhelmingly adopted a resolution. All right, let me stop you right there. This is exactly what people mean when they say that the NDP are already acting like the official opposition. They can't do anything without pointing at a Conservative as a scare tactic. Who's next? Donald Trump, I imagine. Okay, adopted a resolution that would allow education tax dollars to follow students. That makes sense so far. And whereas this private voucher scheme is a similar one to the one favored by US President Donald Trump. Bingo! I knew it was coming. If I didn't know better, I would think that this is satire. If this policy, if it was enacted, it would effectively take millions of dollars out of the Alberta public education system. They don't realize that the 4.2% of the student population that is in a private school already only get 2.6% of the provincial education budget. By parents putting their kids in a private school, they're literally giving public students more classroom space and a larger cut of the budget. But I suppose math is hard for socialists, so we'll cut them some slack. There's more. Expand state-funded feeding times, aka school nutrition programs, reduce school fees, build playgrounds. Wow, what a party these guys have planned on the taxpayers' behalf. I can picture the billions of dollars vanishing in a cheer of communist applause at these conventions. The Alberta NDP have already done so much to botch the education file in this province that it is not even remotely funny. You might have heard that we're running a campaign to fire the Minister of Education, David Egan. These policies are just more nails in the coffin, if you'll excuse my Halloween cliche. We are fundraising for a huge billboard calling on Rachel Notley to immediately fire and replace David Egan with a competent individual from outside the legislature if necessary, because frankly, the children of Alberta are failing on so many educational benchmarks, we cannot afford to wait any longer. If you would like to pitch in to put up this billboard, you can do so at fireegan.ca. I really appreciate the support that we've gotten on this so far. It's been great. As a thank you, we have published this dumpster fire of a convention agenda on our website for you to read at your pleasure. Feel free to tweet me your favorites at Economic on Twitter, and we might start a poll or something so that we can vote on our favorites. As always, thank you for watching. For the Rebel Media, this is Keean Bexte. We are fundraising for a huge billboard calling for Minister David Egan to be fired. You might have heard under his watch, math scores have plummeted to the point that over 40% of students are failing their standardized tests. We need this fixed, and we need it fixed now. You can pitch into that fund at fireegan.ca.